All right, so this video is going to focus on specifically working in Excel to import product and product group data in a fenced context. There's a lot of good general how to work in Excel content on the Help Center, but that's what we're going to focus on here. So you'll see that I'm in this example fence environment, obviously a very sparse one with only one product so far. If I want to switch to working in Excel, I'll go up here to import and export, and then go down to export as Excel to open up that file. So I'm going to pull up my exported file onto the screen here so that we can take a look. And here it is, right? We can see in row 2, we have the existing product that I had already added via the website, and we now have the ability to edit that and or add additional items here in the spreadsheet. So I'll start by adding another product to this list. And you'll see that the first step here is going to be to define a category name. I can use one that already exists, or I can define a new one by typing its name here. And then same thing for name. I'll call this product whatever I want it to be. In this case, let's say this is the Gothic style of board. We'll get that name in there. Now, columns C and D are both optional. If you want to input a SKU value and or a description, you're welcome to do so, and that will populate in those appropriate fields, but again, totally optional. Now, for the unit, you'll notice that this is one where you have a selection to make, and you do have to select one of the preset options here. Probably in most cases it'll be each, in a handful of cases perhaps linear feet, but you do have to pick one of the items from the drop down here. You can't just type in something random here into column E. Now, F and G, in the majority of cases, we're not going to need, so we'll skip over that, and we'll jump over here to our pricing. If you've watched the pricing video, we talked about this a little bit. If you need a refresher on the different pricing methods and what information to input, go watch that video. But for this example, I'll just kind of default here to the input price, and let's say that my price is 10 and cost is 5. We'll just put that in as an example here. Now, if you are setting up tax rates, you may have certain items in your library that you want to be exempt from tax. If that doesn't apply to you, no worries, you can skip over column K. If it does, and you do have something that you want to set as exempt from the tax, you're just going to put a Y in this column like so, and that will be applied to the product when you upload. L and M, again, these are columns that in most cases you're not going to need to mess with, so we'll skip over these. And we'll move over here to column N. This is going to be the product ID. It has a helpful little note there that says do not change, and that is certainly good advice. You'll see that in the case of this existing product here in cell N2 that I already have a defined ID that was created by virtue of this item already being in the library, right? This Gothic product that I've set up here in the next row hasn't been uploaded back to the site yet, and so at that point the system will assign it an ID, but it doesn't have one yet, and there's nothing that we need to do here. Again, good rule of thumb for column N, if something's in there, leave it alone. If it is a new item and doesn't have an ID yet, that's fine too, just leave it as is. Now the final column here is going to be column O. How would you draw it on the canvas? Visual type. As we've discussed before, my recommendation is 99%, if not 100% of the time, you're going to want to set your products to no visual. Again, this is another one that has a drop down. And so my recommendation is just select that no visual option and then copy and paste it all the way down for the products that you're adding in. So those are all the columns. You can, of course, repeat if you want to add additional items. If you have an existing material sheet or price sheet and you want to copy and paste in bulk, This is a great way to get that data in here and then fill in any missing information before you go in and upload. The other point that I'll make is that, in addition to adding new items, you also have the ability to edit existing ones. So, let's say I wanted to rename this product that I already had in there. Maybe I want to call it Premium Board. All I have to do is just go in there and, adjust that name. And then when we upload back to the site, that change will be reflected. The one thing that you can't do as far as editing an existing item is if you try to delete the entire row, it's actually not going to delete that entire product. You'll have to manually delete the product from the website directly. So we've talked about adding new products here on the sheet. We've talked about editing existing items. The one other point that I'll raise as we talk about this is same as on the website. If you do have an existing item that's already in there, like row 2, our dog ear board in this example, the unit and the visual type, so column E and column O, those values cannot be changed if the product is already either created in the website or has been previously uploaded to the website. So if either of those values need to change, we'll need to create a new product. The other piece that we'll talk about here is going to be the product group. So you'll see that at the bottom, right now we're on the products tab. We've also got tabs for product groups and bundles. We're not going to talk about bundles in this video, but I do want to talk about the product group piece here. So if I want to create a product group here in my Excel sheet, the way that I'm going to do that is pretty similar. Let's say that I want to set up a group for wood board choices, right? So I'll call this, wood board options maybe, whatever name I want to define for that. And then an important note here is that to grab my first product that I want to be a component within that group, I'm actually going to go down a cell. So I'm not going to put that first name in cell B2. I'm going to put it in cell B3. So let's say that I want, this Gothic to be the first option, and then maybe I want the dog ear to be the other one. I'll go in and paste it like that. And notice what I did here, right? I went in and I copied and pasted directly from the name of the product here on the product tab. And then I went in and pasted here on the group tab. The reason for that being is that you do need an exact match, right? If there's one letter or one character or one spacing that's off compared to the name of the product as defined here, it will return an error and it won't recognize that that's the thing that you're trying to put in that group. You do have the option to designate a default, right? So if I want the Gothic to be my default, same as with my tax exempt, I'm just going to put a Y here in that cell in column C, in this case on the product group tab. And then same logic for the ID as with our product tab. If it's already there, great. If not, leave it alone, and that's totally fine. So once I have made those additions and or edits as desired, I can then save my file, and then I can come back in here to the website, and I'll go to bulk import edit with Excel. I'm going to go to bulk edit the whole library, and then I've already done step 1 and 2, which is the exporting and editing. So I'm going to go down to step 3 and hit import. And then I'm going to go in and grab my file. This is it. Okay. Yeah, modified just a minute ago. All right, so I'll upload this. And here we go, right? We've got one addition, the Gothic, one update to the dog ear. Perfect. Luckily, no errors. And then I've got one addition here in my product group. Yay, no errors. And then obviously we didn't do anything on the bundle tab, so we're not going to see anything there. I'm going to hit import, and then it will bring in my changes. Depending on how much change there is in the Excel sheet, it can take a minute to process the data. In this case, we didn't have a ton come in, so if I refresh, we're probably going to go ahead and see, yeah, there we go. We've got both of these in here, right? We've got the updated name, and then if we go into our product groups, we've got this one set up for us as well.